The local food movement is catching on. Farmers markets are beginning to thrive as people realize that food with a lot of mileage on it isn't so tasty. It's amazing to think that our food travels an average of 1,500 miles to the dinner table. Buying local is buying quality, but it also gives you an opportunity to get to know the person who grows your food. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Michael at Stone Ridge Orchard in upstate New York is a modern farmer, and with a degree in apples, a pomologist. He's realistic about organic, and he doesn't subscribe to trends. He does what's best for the local ecology and at the same time produces quality apples in a quantity that's sustainable for his small farm.
Stone Ridge Orchard is a farm that's been in existence for over 200 years. Back in the 40s and 50s, things happened much differently than they happen today. The trees were a lot larger, the sprays that were used were incredibly toxic. The production was pretty high, but the fruit quality was low. And then in 2000, we planted the first high-density orchard. One of the things about this transition from trees that are very large to moderate-sized trees to small trees is it changed pest control strategies. You know, we're moving in the direction of wanting to grow our apple crop organically. It's not a recipe. It's not a manual that I can open and say, well, now we're going to do this today. It's about a way of thinking. It's our commitment to being stewards of the land and becoming better growers, not only in terms of what we provide to the public, but in terms of how we grow it, and keep pushing towards that level where essentially we're growing food and our impact on the environment is completely sustainable. And if we're really concerned about the environmental cost of our food, so to speak, we need to think and act locally before anything else. And a lot of our organic produce has come from a long way away. But I think it's high time that people really began to know their roots and understand who grows their food, where it's grown, and how it's grown.
So it's really not about the label. It's about the care and attention that the farmers give to the crop. As a progressive farmer, Michael brings in a consultant, Rob Cook, to get the latest advice about his techniques in integrated pest management. With IPM, the farmers develop clear strategies by understanding the insect and disease cycles with close observation.
Integrated pest management is a toolbox that you want to use using biological controls, genetic controls, cultural controls, and then also chemical controls, judicious of course. You bring all these tools together, you pick out what you need, maybe you need all four. Here's one of the common tools that folks use when they're doing an integrated pest management program. You know, they use a trap. And this right here is a pheromone trap. There's some other things here that I was checking out when you came up, you know, and as you know, on the East Coast here, we're a wetter climate than in other places, and one of the things that's the biggest challenge for folks on the Northeast is to control stuff like this.
So integrated pest management, you know, is largely about managing what's in the trees, but what we also have to do is to manage what's underneath and around the trees as well. And one of the plants that we have that we find very common in orchards is in the nightshade family. Some farmers would classify them as weeds, and there's a lot that certainly can be very noxious and difficult to take care of. But this nightshade particularly, specifically, grew here on its own. And if you look around, there's quite a bit of nightshade here. And it just comes up, and if we utilize it right, we can help to reduce insect and disease problems in the orchard. You know, IPM is about a lot of different things. I mean, it's about the land quality, it's about soil, it's about water and air health, it's about consumer and food safety issues. It's about biodiversity as well.
Organic's a tough thing in this area, and one thing that growers, they got to be able to let some of these natural systems like aphids and lady beetles more or less coexist.
What we're trying to do here on this farm with everything that we do is to be very progressive and from one day to the next make little changes. And if it gets to be 100% organic or 100% biodynamic, that's great. Regardless of how a crop is grown, that local has to trump anything else.
It's time to go beyond the labels and support local farms. For more information, go to riverwire.com.